speaking of productivity, let's transition to the Golden State Warriors, because they have been a very quiet but almost stealth type of organization this offseason. Because we know that coming into this offseason, there were two teams that we expected to make some major acquisitions and some big splashes in free agency. The Golden State Warriors and the Philadelphia 76ers. And right now, apparently the Golden State Warriors are divided internally on the split and on the fit of Ben Simmons and Draymond Green. Ben Simmons, clearly, based on these comments, is someone that they are indicating they would like to trade for. And so those were the two teams that I always expected to make some type of move that I wanted to keep my eye on. And so, of course, the 76ers, as I alluded to last week, we're obviously going to be trading and shipping off Ben Simmons. He has refused their calls. He doesn't take their calls anymore. He understands. He has shut them out. You need to trade me if you want to salvage this relationship. You want to fix this? Trade me. It's as simple as that. So he's made it clear he's not returning to the organization. And I said last week how in negotiating 101, if you're trying to acquire a star player or a star athlete, you have to ask for the sun and the moon. If you're trying to acquire a star athlete, you have to start with an exorbitant offer, with an exorbitant deal. And then as discussions wane, you slowly start to reel back in those inflated expectations, those inflated overvaluing of your asset, and you come back to earth and offer a much more realistic trade proposal. You make a much more realistic trade proposal. And obviously we know that the first time that the Warriors and the Philadelphia 76ers engaged in a discussion revolving a trade around Ben Simmons, the Sixers asked for Andrew Wiggins, James Wiseman, and 4 future first-round picks, obviously 2 of which were taken in the first round, Jonathan Kuminga and Moses Moody, but then 2 future picks down the road. Warriors flatly rejected that. There's no question about that. But obviously, there are indications now, based on these reports, that they clearly still are trying to find a way and are contemplating a trade for Ben Simmons. So this is what I posit. This is what I always posited, that Wiseman is the best and likely asset that the 76ers want in return for Ben Simmons. So James Wiseman, we have to assume that he is going to be a part of any trade discussion, and he'll likely be paired with Andrew Wiggins. How many draft picks? That's debatable. But if we assume that to be true, then if the crux of this conundrum, of this dilemma, and this discussion is revolving around the fit, if it's purely based on the fit between Draymond Green and Ben Simmons, which is what they're reporting, well, then to me, I say you make the trade. You absolutely make the trade. If that's really what it comes down to, is the fit between those two guys, then you make the trade. Because think about the lineup. If you were to have Ben Simmons with Draymond Green, Steph Curry, and Klay Thompson, Ben Simmons in transition with those two guys running to the wings, to have the greatest shooter of all time in Steph and a top 5 shooter of all time in Klay Thompson as your running mate, even with the fact that he's recovering from 2 season-ending injuries, you pair Ben Simmons with those two guys, they'll be electric. Absolutely electric on offense. They'll be impossible to stop because you've got Ben Simmons who'll push it on the break. He's a one-man fast break. And say what you want about his inability to shoot, which I agree. He can't shoot, but he can drive it to the basket. He can attack the rim. If you've got one smaller guy in front of him, this is a guy in Ben Simmons who's 6'10", 6'11", probably 230, 240. He's going to blow past anyone. You can't hug off Steph or Klay. You can't hug off him. You have to stay attached to the hip with him. So the amount of opportunities that he would create on offense for them is astronomical. It'd be unbelievable. The ease with which they would be able to get shots with Ben Simmons purely on offense is undebatable. And then if you switch back to the defensive side of the ball, you've got a guy in Ben Simmons. You're acquiring a guy in Ben Simmons who was just all NBA defensive team last year. You've got Draymond Green, who has been an all defensive player. Klay Thompson is an elite defensive player. Even if he's compromised a bit, he'll still be a good defensive player. Maybe not great for the first year. He'll still be good. So, again, and then the issue is, well, he can't shoot. Okay, who is he going to be practicing with every single day in practice? Who is he going to be in the gym with night in and night out? Oh, I don't know. Steph Curry, the greatest shooter ever, and Klay Thompson, a top 5 shooter of all time. And whether or not it rubs off on him in terms of it manifesting in the form of him making outside shots, I don't know. He'll probably shoot with more confidence, though. He'll get more technique improvements, and he'll just understand the concepts revolved around shooting way, way better playing it with those guys every single day in practice. So I think that they should make this trade. Again, if the reports are true and it's purely based on the fit between Draymond Green and Ben Simmons, then I don't know what we're discussing here. They should absolutely just go ahead and complete that trade. That's personally what I think.